Welcome to the Cancer Support Suffolk podcast. Join me, Mark Murphy, and my brilliant guests as we talk about life before, during and after cancer. Hello, I'm Mark Murphy, the CEO of Cancer Support Suffolk, and welcome to our latest podcast, supported by the Suffolk Community Foundation and the Suffolk and North East Essex Integrated Care Board. This month, we're looking at lymphoma. Well, with me is brother and sister, Sarah and Simon, who've both had Hodgkin's lymphoma. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you both very much for coming in. And Sarah, you've been on at me for ages to... Can we come in and talk?
Yes.
Can we come in and talk? Now you're both here. It's good to see you. So
Thank you.
So can we start by explaining what it is, first of all?
Lymphoma?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be cancer of the lymph system. Basically, you've got the lymph in most places in the body in these channels. And with lymphoma, the cells divide abnormally and they don't work as well as they should. And they will then cluster in the lymph node. Now, when you're ill, you may know, people listening may know, the lymph node will come up.
Oh, sometimes people say, well, your glands up, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But after that infection has subsided, your lymph node should go down. Now, if it doesn't, that's an alarm bell that needs investigating. And I think that's what's happened to you this last time, Simon.
Yeah, so the third time for you now. Yeah, take us back. Were you diagnosed first, Simon? Yeah. What was the scenario? What happened? When did you sort of think, hang on, something's not right here?
The trouble is, Mark, when you think back, in my mind, to me, I started going wrong at 13. That's how I just, puberty, it just, to me, was just like a tap. It was as if someone had just turned it and all my energy had gone with it. And I felt terrible. I'd got no self-confidence, no energy, no belief. I just felt totally shattered all the time. But I was 19 before it was really picked up and 20 before it was really picked up. So the question is how long it had been coming. I'd had a lump in my neck for 2 years.
It was the size of a plum in your neck, wasn't it?
I've got a mass in here. Inside, you couldn't see it, but come up on I went to see my GP. I went back to Writtle College to go back to college for my autumn to start my third year in college. Went to see my GP. I said, I'm just exhausted. I said, I'm not right. He said, let me have a look at this. He said, well, I'll send you for a chest x-ray in Broomfield, Chelmsford. He said, we'll take it from there. He said, but you're not very well. He said, we'll have a blood test and we'll see what. And when I went back to see him, we had pigeonholes at college. There's no phones and all that stuff anymore. Then we had alphabetical pigeonholes. All your posts went in W for me, for was. Got a letter from the surgery. GP, need to see you now. I thought, that's not good.
No, that's a scary kind of message, isn't it, really?
I went and sat with him. Walked up to reception, said, I've had a summons from the college. Yeah, come in now. Come and sit down. And he looked at me. He said, I'm sorry, he said, but you've got cancer. I was 20. I said, what? What? It's not on the agenda, is it, mate? I've got a life ahead of me of women and beer and tractors and lorries, and I've got a lot to do. And you just sit there and think, there's your rug. That's just been whipped. And we talked for a little while, but it wasn't going in, Mark. He was talking to me in Swahili. It wasn't making any sense. And his phone rang. He said, excuse me. And he answered the phone. A minute later, I said, am I going to die? He said, no, I'm confident you're not. He said, but I'm very sorry. He said, the journey you've got ahead of you is tough. It's going to be very tough. How do you go on from there?
Yeah, at 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it made me, Mark, in a twisted way, it made me a man. Yeah. The whole journey.
You had to grow up pretty quick after that conversation.
I became 40 in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it hasn't actually hurt me.
What sort of treatment did you have to have done?
Chemo.
Okay.
I had an operation.
Yep.
In Broomfield.
Was that to take the mass out?
It was to do a biopsy on this lump.
Okay.
And I think the lump actually fell out when he cut it open. And he took it. That wasn't the plan, but I'd got no lump at all after.
Oh, right.
And
okay.
I hadn't had any chemo, so he must have took it away.
Yeah.
And I remember Dr. Fife at the end of the bed, he said, you have got Hodgkin's lymphoma. I dropped out of college and I never think about this, I was the last patient ever in Ivry Street to see Mr. Mott. And his registrar, Dr. Scrace. And Dr. Scrace is still working. He was a young lad there. Lovely people.
I was only talking about Mr. Mott today.
We went to his funeral. He saved our lives, Mark, an absolute diamond. He set up the hospice. I didn't know that till he died. and I was the 5th inpatient at Somersham, the new ward on Heath Road. I should have had 6 lots of chemo, but I was so ill, I actually went mad. But the 3rd, I wouldn't stay in the hospital. I started smashing stuff up. And Mum said, well, I can't take him home like this. He's a raging bull. So I went to St Clement's because there was nowhere for me to go. Yeah. I was totally out of my mind, full of drugs, so weak I couldn't stand, I couldn't swallow, I couldn't think. You think about that. And it's all alien, isn't it? You've got no idea how you're going to feel. But I was so angry at my situation and I was so weak.
So you felt then, what at the age of 20, why me at such a young age? Why am I getting diagnosed with all this?
It went through my mind, yeah. And then it came back.
I think a lot of people feel like that, whatever age.
My mum said, he is not having any more chemo. You're killing him. Look at my boy. You're killing him. He said, oh. He said, well, he can finish on radium. So I did. I had 3 lots of chemo, finished on radium, and then it came back. It was New Year's Day, 94. I'd had the results. I wrote her car off because mine was in for MOT. I rolled that over on black ice. So it wasn't a good start.
Mine was newer than his.
That was a lovely car. I thought, I don't believe this. I was laying on the side of the road with my dirty clothes. The window had gone, all my washing had gone, listening to Eurasia, I Love to Hate You.
Oh, dear.
Sitting like this. Thinking,
yes.
What? And then I got the results of my scan January the 4th, and it was back. And I thought, well, I've only had 4 days.
Had you had any other symptoms or anything like that? No, nothing. It's just the test that brought it back.
But I think because I hadn't had the chemo, I hadn't got rid of it. And I went to Addenbrooke's and had a bone marrow transplant with my own bone marrow.
Stem cell, yeah.
Stem cell. Oh, God, that's evil. That was evil. You wouldn't put any Hitler through that where I've been. I've seen people die in my face, Mark. Not actually stop breathing and go to sleep, but that postman who was over there, 24, Paul Quinton, his name, he died. And my mate's dad, he died. My mouth was just a big black ulcer. If I'd have cleaned my teeth, I'd have spat it out. And I get quite angry and, how do you put it? My language gets a bit choice and I need to think.
That's okay. You're more than welcome to use choice language on this podcast because it's all about feelings and getting those feelings out as well. So not once, but twice, and then a 3rd time.
I had glandular fever 2019. I'd worked myself to death, basically. My dad was dying. I was just strained and pulled every direction and I burnt myself out. And I think I triggered it again. 2022, I was sitting with Sarah at the Suffolk show, having lunch, because I'm a steward at the show, and I'd been asked, funnily enough, by Dave Beecroft, can you get 7 trucks from 7 decades for a line-up for the Queen?
Oh, yes, I remember that show.
That's what we were doing there, and I made that line. I actually ended up with 14, and I gave it to my boss, and he said, he's just fake. He said, you can get all these? I said, yeah. He said, I'll have the lot. I said, but you haven't got room. You've only got room for 7. He said, that's my problem. He said, if you can get these here, we'll get them in. And that was something else, Mark. When have you ever seen a line? We had a 1950s or 40s, 50s Austin right through to a new truck in a line. And when you come in the gate from Felixstowe, it's the first thing you saw behind the picket fence.
I remember it very well.
That looked stunning.
Yeah, it did.
And that was Mukesh. He said, I need to see you.
This is your consultant?
Yeah. Can you come now? I said, no.
Well, we were in the lunch queue.
I'm having lunch with my sister at the Suffolk show. I said, I haven't got a car here. I said, I've got a lorry and I'm sleeping in it.
Yeah.
He said, well, I need to see you. He said, your cancer's back. I said, what? I said, it can't be. I had a letter last week saying I'm all clear. He said, well, I've done some further tests and it isn't. And I looked at her eating her lunch and I thought, what? He said, you've got, it's in your spine. Yeah. T4, T7. They count the vertebrae from the top. And I thought, I've got bone cancer. And I thought, there's no way I'm coming out of this. That's it. This is it. I've had my last harvest. I've had my last Christmas. I'm finished.
But here you are. Here you are.
I'm a miracle, Mark. It might sound arrogant, but it's the truth. Because nobody can explain how I've come through. I've been in 4 mental institutions. And that's quite a rattle, isn't it? When you look back on it all, that I was such a mess. And you're full of drugs. That's what it is. And scared. How do you cope with that?
You learn a lot about yourself, don't you, when you look back?
It's frightening.
Yeah.
Actually. But there's a lot of strength in it.
Yeah. Sarah, brother and sister, there is talk of this being genetic. Is that right? Lymphoma?
I've heard something about a genetic predisposition. However, I do know of a twin one of them's had it and the other hasn't. So at the end of the day, I don't think we know. The thing was, we were selling the farm and our immune systems were shot. And I think we're both very sensitive, caring people. And I think you're going to pick up something, or something's going to happen to you with a low immune system. And for Simon to have, I mean, Hodgkin's is a rare cancer. For Simon to have it, and then for me to then have it, it just didn't seem possible. And I remember saying at the time, what is this chicken pox? You know, because
So how old were you when this happened?
24.
Okay, and where was that in
the middle.
Simon's cycle?
August
Right.
92, I'd been given the all clear.
Yeah.
She was diagnosed.
Wow.
I was 21 in the April.
My goodness me.
It didn't seem possible. And I didn't believe it. And I didn't believe it until the chemo started working. And I put on 1/2 stone in a week. And I thought, well, I have got it. Because, and I wanted to talk about symptoms, my symptoms were different from yours.
What were yours?
Well, I didn't have a tumour in my neck. I had a lymph node that they ended up doing the biopsy on, and they were a bit iffy about whether that was even going to be conclusive. But mine was more of a spread in the chest and down towards the aorta. But I had the night sweats and I'd lost about 1 stone, but I was out of work and Simon was going through the chemo. So, you know, we were going through it as a family, and I never thought that, you know, my lack of appetite was something that I should be alarmed about. It was, you know, the effect that of what was going on around us was having on me. And anemia was another one.
You could have stopped coughing, could you?
That's another thing, a persistent cough. If you have a cough beyond, say, a month, that needs investigating. Very much so. And it was like a smoker's cough. I mean, I don't smoke, but it was terrible.
You'd really shake, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So
and
you
were
remember.
You were so thin.
Yeah. I was
thought
in a
there's
lot
something
of
not
pain.
right here.
Yeah. So, you know, eventually I had a blood test and I had half my red blood cells. I needed 5 units of blood and they turned me upside down in 24 hours, which was very stressful because when you're ill and you've been suffering for weeks and you're weak, you then get rushed in and you're like, right, let's have an x-ray. Right, let's do a CT. Blah, blah, blah. Right, we're looking for this, we're looking for that. And you think, for heaven's sake. And then what's conclusive is always the biopsy. So, I mean, they can look at your x-rays and they think you've got this, you've got that. But the diagnostic is the biopsy. So I had that a few days later and there it was.
How did you feel after seeing what Simon had been through and thinking, how on earth have I got the same?
Well, I didn't believe it. And I was frightened.
Yeah.
I was also very angry. And I thought, what am I doing now? I went home and I was in the orchard and I thought, I have got to face this. Either you're going to live, have the treatment and live, or not. And I was 24 and I'd been a student till I was 22. I'd only just got a job and I thought, I don't want to depart this earth. I feel I've got so much to give. I'm a graduate. Simon's been to college. We're not stupid people. You know, we like to do things and get on and make a difference. And we are making a difference now. After being so poorly, I think one good thing, definitely one good thing, is having this fabulous perspective in life of I've been on the floor emotionally, couldn't hardly get out of bed, couldn't speak because I was very, very ill on 1 month's treatment. And I think now, if people ask me an opinion, they get it. Yeah? And I've got the confidence to fly to Germany and interpret, because that's what I have done. I've worked in Switzerland and I've been wanting to get involved with lymphoma action before, and then you had this abnormal PET scan 3 years ago and I thought, I just can't. I can't entertain anything else, anyone else's problems, because I was in bits over Simon. But I think it does open your eyes to what's important. What is important?
So when you see people moaning about pretty trivial stuff on social media and stuff like that, you know.
No, it gets on my whip. You're late in the traffic. Okay, the water's too hot in the shower.
I've run out of milk.
I've got a spot on my nose.
Well, whose fault's that then?
Yeah.
That's just bad planning.
You can cope with it.
On your part. Why are you telling me?
I met someone, he was a veteran from Afghanistan, and he said to me, you know, he'd seen people around him die. And he said, and my kids get upset about the most trivial things. And I thought, yeah, I can completely relate to you. When you've been in that situation,
I mean, it shows how precious life is, doesn't
Very
it?
much.
And, we need to make the most of everything that we
But this isn't
what
a
we have.
rehearsal, Mark, is
No.
it?
No,
We're
it's
not going
not.
to do it again.
Yeah.
You won't have the opportunities you've had in your life again, and nor will I, and nor will Sarah, and nor will you. And you can't say, I wish I, because you didn't.
And we never know how long we've got. You can go in a car crash. I don't want to be morbid, but I mean, you never know when it's your last
Anything
day.
can happen.
And when you're diagnosed and you're then fighting chemo, you're not able to live your life as you would wish. You can't go off on holiday,
can't
really.
do anything. I couldn't put my trousers on. I've got to go and have chemo.
It can be tough for some
I'd
people,
sit there
can't
in
it?
bed
Yeah.
looking at it. I think, well, I'll do that. And I need a pee. And I was too proud to ask for help. I've got to go. And I couldn't. I just can't. You send a message to your legs, right, get up, we'll go and have a wee. Nothing. Not there. But one of my greatest statements is money. I know, you know how much money you've got. And you can earn some more. So can Sarah, so can I. How much time have you got, Mark?
Who knows?
How much have I got?
Who knows?
And that's the question. And that's we need to focus on time, not money. Money is a trade for time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But you need to live within your means, and you don't need much money, and you've got more time. How's that?
Well, it's a really great attitude that you've both got with that, coming through what you've been through, because you could both be very angry. Well, you are still a bit, I think, Simon, but you could be a whole lot more angry about things.
Yeah.
But you really are just saying, right, okay, we've gone through this now. We need to be living life, maximising the time that we have.
The thing is, we're still here,
I get
and I
angry
have dear
talking
friends.
about it. I'm all right. I'm quite, but
You're quite a passive guy, I can see that.
It's poked. It's like poking a snake.
I ain't going to poke you, don't worry. You're all right. But you said it's quite rare, isn't it? It is quite a rare disease.
Yeah, so stats for 2017 or 2019 figures from Cancer Research, 2,166 cases of Hodgkin's a year. And then we've got non-Hodgkin's, which is much more prevalent, and that's about 13,500. So for us to both have it, this is very
I remember
strange.
Terry Motts, because Mum worked with Terry in a private hospital.
So this is the consultant, Mr.
Yes,
Mott.
yeah. And he said, we've been having a discussion about you two behind closed doors. Is there something genetic in this? But you see, there's no history in my family, either side of Hodgkin's lymphoma at all. But my dad used to spray a lot of crops with a David Brown 2D, which is just a little open tractor with a toolbar. And I wondered if the spray had damaged his semen.
DNA.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but,
maybe.
But Terry said, I see countless lung cancers, breasts, every year. He said, Hodgkin's is I see about 6 a year of Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he said, and you and Sarah are 2 of the 12, 2 years apart. And he said, there's something here that we've missed, that we haven't picked up on. So there is some.
You may never know, but maybe further down the line, people will know, because advances are being made all the while in treatments and diagnosis and stuff. Can I talk to you about early diagnosis? Because that's one of the things at Cancer Support Suffolk that we really encourage people to go for the screening appointments, and if something isn't quite right. How important is that? Well, I know it's very important, but from what you've seen, it makes a big difference, doesn't it?
If I just kept going until I collapsed, I'm riddled with it, aren't I?
Yeah.
And then it's too late.
Although I will say at this point, yours was stage 4 the last time, which is why it had gone to the spine. Now, I've learned something, because I said to Mahesh, your consultant, I said, I didn't think Hodgkin's would metastasise. And he said, but it does in the latter stages. So this is why it had gone to your spine. And I was thinking, my goodness, it's a spinal cancer. But no, it wasn't. But Hodgkin's, very luckily for us, is what they call low grade. So it's not like your breast, ovary, lung, the highly malignant ones which metastasise. So for us, for myself, I was stage 3 and it didn't metastasise, but I've got a 90% plus prognosis. I had 6 months of chemo, but again, in that second month, I nearly didn't make it. And then I went on to the weaker chemo after that. But so even, stage 4, Simon's still got a very good prognosis. I know with breast cancer, stage 4, that's incurable, very sadly. So because it's non-invasive mostly and low grade, it's one of the better ones to cure.
And going through what you both went through with those treatments, you both described them as, very, very unpleasant. I mean, it's different for everybody, but you've got to put up with that, haven't you? So, so anybody who's listening now who may be going through thinking, I'm having chemotherapy or whatever, they have made many, many improvements in recent years as well. So there's less impact on people than there used to be. But if you don't, the opposite is not worth thinking about, is it? You've got to put yourself through this.
It's not a quick, nice death either, is it? It's a very slow, degenerative, painful, and then you'll be out of your head on drugs at the end, and everybody watching that.
So as uncomfortable and as unpleasant as all of that was,
grasp the metal.
You've got to fight your way through it, haven't you?
Get through today.
I mean, Motty said to us, because we used to call him Spotty Motty because he had a spotty handkerchief, you see. In fact, we had quite a good laugh with Motty, didn't we, Simon?
He was a lovely guy, very humble.
He's very human as well as having the knowledge. And Simon used to greet him and said, "Here comes the man." He used to blush. He would say to Simon, "Driven any big rigs lately?" And he's great. He said to us, these aren't baby drugs, because they're not, because they have to kill the cancer. So they're going to be very powerful. They are cytotoxic drugs, they're cell-toxic drugs. And the treatment we had, it's so vicious, dare I say it, that they didn't give it to people over 30. But it's given us this great prognosis. And unfortunately, Simon had glandular fever, and that virus is linked with head and neck cancers, very sadly. So, and when, again, we didn't know you'd got cancer, did we, Simon? You just said to me, "I don't feel well. I'd love to know what's wrong."
I never really got over 2019.
There are people probably out there now who are feeling, do you know what? I'm just not right. When you say that, I'm just not right. Yeah. That should be a sign to go to your GP.
Go and have
keep
a blood
going
test.
back as well.
Yeah.
You know yourself like nobody else. Don't be fobbed off. If you're not happy, and I had a bad tooth here, he said, "Well, go and have the tooth out, and the gland will go down." Well, I had the tooth out, but the gland didn't go down. And I thought, no, this isn't right.
You know your own body, don't you?
Yes.
Don't ignore those signs.
No, lumps.
And the cough.
They're key.
Yeah.
And I had
Very important.
itchy legs.
Yeah.
That's part
That's
of it.
another thing.
I used to scratch myself at night and actually rip the skin off my feet and legs and bleed in the night. I thought, this is there's something wrong here, isn't there?
Well, look, it's been fascinating talking to both of you. What a pair you are. My goodness.
We're not finished yet, mate.
No,
There's much more to come.
Definitely
more to
not
come.
finished yet.
And Sarah, you're involved in Lymphoma Action.
Yes,
You've got your shirt on there.
Yes, I have. I've got this. Can you see this flower on here? And I do know what it is.
No, but you're going to tell me.
Do you remember what it is?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I never
so
knew.
this is the emblem for Lymphoma Action, which is the pink periwinkle.
Okay.
The
yes, I
pink
do.
periwinkle.
It's not pink, it's white.
Well, I know. Okay, sorry. Blame them. I only bought the T-shirt. It's the source of 2 chemotherapy drugs which I've had for Hodgkin's, which are vincristine and vinblastine. So that's their symbol. Yeah, and it's only a small charity of 40 people in Buckinghamshire. It was set up in 1983 by 2 former patients and called the Hodgkin's Disease Association. Because when we had Hodgkin's, it was Hodgkin's disease, and it's now been called lymphoma. Yeah, so they've got, like, if I can talk about the charity, they've got all sorts of things that they can help people with, like podcasts and leaflets.
Talking about it is good.
Yeah, that's so important.
I thought I could cope with it by not talking about it. And I went bang.
Yeah.
And that's not the answer.
No. It's really one of the things that I've noticed since working here is that everybody's different, but an awful lot of people do need to share and talk. And if you can find people who have had a similar experience to yours, that shared experience makes all the difference.
My neighbour knew Bob Champion. Are you familiar with him? He won the national on Old and Needy, and he was so ill as a young man. And he come and sat on my sofa and talked to me. And that meant the world to me, Mark. Yeah. And the dentist receptionist's brother, he'd had cancer. And I was downtown with Mum, and I said, "Can we go and find him?" I just wanted to see someone who'd come through the other side. I didn't want to talk to him. I just wanted to look at him and to think to myself, there is life beyond this moment. And we all have hope that a bad time will stop and a good one won't.
And positive attitude is so important.
You're nearly there, Mark. If you don't think you can, you won't.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lymphoma support group based in Ipswich, And we've got the details at Cancer Support Suffolk, so if you want to find out more, do get in touch with us. And I've passed you the leaflet, actually, so it might be something that you perhaps
it would
want
be worth going to
reach out and talk to them.
To look, yes.
Because, as you say, it is so rare. It is so rare. But we have to watch out for those symptoms. So, Sarah, what have you got planned? What are your plans for the future? Have you got your bucket list?
Well, I've done a bit off my bucket list, which was sing with a rock band at my 50th.
Okay, well done.
Yes, and I loved doing that. I shocked quite a few people. I did. I didn't tell many people because I thought I've got to give myself a get-out clause. Then I did Rainbow Since You've Been Gone and Journey Keep On Believing, and I have it on a video because several people got their cameras out. And we also did all the catering that night, didn't we? Had a fantastic night.
Britain's Got Talent next then.
Don't know about that. I have done some karaoke. After everything, I did I Will Survive on karaoke.
Brilliant.
Which was very
relevant.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would like to do more for the charity, and I would like to go out there and do some talks and spread the word about what we've been through. And again, like we've said, it's to inspire others on their chemo journey, and that it isn't
and to show that you now are the people that you were looking to look at when you were younger.
Exactly.
You are the survivors, aren't you?
There is life.
Yeah.
Well, we're lucky enough to still be here.
And Simon, what are your plans? I know you love your trucks, don't you?
I've overseen a truck show 20 years this year.
Have you? This is Foxfest, isn't it? Vauxhall Stadium.
It started as Crowfield Truck Rally at the pub in Crowfield. We moved to the Oil Crossing. We got thrown out of there because they wanted to destroy it.
Oh, it's closed now, isn't it? Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then me and Danny couldn't decide what we're going to do. So she started Stoneham Truck Show at Stoneham, and I didn't want to go there, and she didn't want to come to Vauxhall, so we parted company. And that's that, isn't it? But there's 6 shows come out of that. What I started with Danny, which came out of Great Ashfield on the airfield when I was a boy. And between them, that's over 70 grand.
Brilliant.
For charity.
Absolutely brilliant.
I've got 10 unfinished books I'm writing at home.
Okay.
One of which is my life story. Yeah. And it's how it goes on. There's one on Legates. I want to keep doing my shows. I've never missed a harvest on a farm, ever. My mum I got in Dad's lorry when I was 2 months old. She got up, she gave me in rags to him. He passed, and in a few minutes I was asleep. And the seed is sown from 2 months. Look, the hedges, the noise,
tractors.
The smells. I love tractors, combines, potato diggers, hydraulics, all that sort of stuff. I'm just in awe of everything like that. That's what I want to keep doing. Gardening, growing food.
You will. I have no doubt about it.
Parish Council.
Parish Council now. I've done 7 years on the council. And I can't leave, Mark. My family have been there since 1906. And what Dad told me, I know more about that village than anyone who walks.
There's another podcast.
Potentially.
I just want to enjoy my time.
No, you're absolutely right. That's what we should all do.
Yeah.
That's absolute inspiration.
That's the point. And if people bring me down or don't want to be with them, I don't. It's quite simple.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's been a delight to share some time with you. Thank you for being so open, the pair of you, about your journeys and your experiences, because, you know, it will be crucial and vital to other people to listen to this. You're both here to tell the tale, which is very important. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Simon, Sarah,
Yeah,
lovely
it's
to
been
see
great.
you. Thank you. Really,
Thank you, Mark.
Really inspirational stuff. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. This episode is available on YouTube, on our website, all sorts of different places. So please tell your friends, do share the podcast around. If you'd like more information about what we do here at Cancer Support Suffolk, you can go to our website. That's cancersupportsuffolk.co.uk, or you can call us on 01473 211 884. We are based in Ipswich here in Suffolk, but we do spread our wings right across the whole county of Suffolk. Cancer Support Suffolk is passionate about educating and supporting the people of Suffolk, and as a registered charity, we rely on donations and fundraising to be able to continue our vital work in the community. So thank you very much, and we'll be back again next month.